Good afternoon, guys. This is Dr. Intubae. I just finished my day in the OR and I thought I would take a bit of a tour of the cart so that you guys can see what tools that I use every single day and things that I set up in the OR. So I thought we would do that together. If you like educational videos, wellness, and lifestyle about a doctor, please follow and subscribe. Okay, so we're gonna start at the top of the cart and we're gonna work our way down. At the top, we have all of our stickers that we use for our medications. And so we basically pull out the one that we want and we stick it on the sticker. So just as easy as pulling it and then grabbing the piece of sticker, and then we put it directly on our syringe to label it. Obviously, there are different colors because they're associated with different types of drugs and their actions. So for example, we have orange here because these are our muscle relaxants. We have succinylcholine, which is a depolarizing muscle relaxant, and then we have rocuronium, which is a non-depolarizing muscle relaxant. So that guides us with our color scheme when we're in the OR. All right, the next row here is oropharyngeal airway. So that's what they're called here, is called OPA. So we have 80 millimeters, 90 millimeters, and 100. So obviously red is the biggest and then green is the smallest. We also have some blunt needles to use when we're drawing up our medications. But usually I will grab obviously one of these. If I'm unsure about the patient, and it's usually like either between red and yellow, then I'll grab both and put them on my anesthesia cart. Moving down to the next level, we have all our syringes. So we have 20, 10, 5, and 3. And I will be honest, we're pretty particular when it comes to which syringes go with which drugs. As you can see here, for example, phenylephrine, I tend to like to be in a 10 cc syringe. Then we have ephedrine, which I also like it to be in a 5 cc syringe, just like we have it here. And then other drugs that I really like to be in 3 cc's are things like lidocaine, Dilaudid. 5 cc's, I either put like our rocuronium or maybe 10 cc rocuronium depending on the weight of the patient. The 20 cc syringe, I would have to admit, is pretty much reserved for our propofol syringes, and sometimes we can put infusions in here where we would put like 20 cc's of phenylephrine or something, but those are our syringes. Of course, here we have workspace because when we're drawing up our drugs, we want space to put the drug down, the syringes, and to essentially put it all together. All right, our first drawer. As we can see, it's our drug drawer. So we have our propofol, lidocaine, normal saline right here. And then here we have specific kinds of medications that we don't always use, but that are there. And then here we have our muscle relaxants, okay. Oxytocin, pain medication, ketorolac. Ephedrine is a suppressor. Zofran and Dexa are more for nausea. And then of course, our propofol we have in bigger syringes if we're doing things like Tiva. But yeah, these are all arranged in different ways and forms in different centers, but it is good to know what is in your cart and what do you have available. In other words, what is here and what is in the crash cart. So looking at different things. All right, second drawer. So this is basically an infusion drawer. We have our big syringes for large infusions. We have catheters here. These are kind of like the stopcocks that we can use for different infusions. Once again, more tubing, lidocaine, and then other things that we may need, but once again, all about tubing. Here is more of our regional anesthesia drawer. So as you can see, we have needles, spinal needles. We have a Whitaker here, for example. Stickers. This is an EpiGuard that we use to secure the epidural in place. Some more syringes. Like I said, different type of filter needles that would be particular that we would use for spinals. And then here we have our local anesthetics. So just to show you, we have here bupivacaine 0.25, which is of course very different than what we have here, which is sensorcaine, also bupivacaine 0.5%, but with epi, as you can see. So always be mindful to check and double check your drugs when you are taking them. Here we have masks. Obviously they're disposable. They are in different sizes. We have size 4, 5, and 6. As you can imagine, 6 is for very large people who have larger faces, and then these are reserved, this is more for women, and then smaller individuals. In the back here, we actually have our MAC blades that we use. They're obviously always cleaned and then stored and stocked right here. So we have our MAC blades 3 and 4. Second last drawer, our most colorful one, because we have our LMAs, or eye gels specifically, so laryngeal mask airway. So yellow for 3, green for 4, and orange for 5, which is usually men women, and this is just for smaller men or women that we use the 3. And then absolutely all sorts of different size tubes that you see here. So we can pull one out, hang on, here we go. So size 7, and then all the way ranging down to a size 6. All right, so different size tubes there, for depending on the size of the patient. And then last but not least, our final drawer. So we do have a McGrath, which is a different type of intubating tool. We have stylets for our tubes. This is another type of stylet. Some people have preferences to whether to use the metal or this one, which is more bendy. And then here we have, of course, another glide scope, or another intubating tool, I should say, and then this one as well. So there are different types based on the patient's, based on the anesthesiologist's preference. So once again, here's a smaller one. This is a McGrath, size 4, never mind. It looked small, but it's not. So yeah, so that is the final drawer of our anesthesia cart. So that is the end of the anesthesia cart tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns in the messages and comments below. Happy to answer anything and all questions.